Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next speaker, Marek Grzenkowicz, presenting the topic, How to Automate Dependency Updates with the Renovate at Roche bot.
Thank you. Thank you for this introduction. Who was here for the 11 o'clock talk about DevOps 2.0? Yeah, you guys were here, I know. Yeah. So the rest of you, I guess, you chose to be here to see the avalanche of automated merge requests that Yishai was warning about. I will actually try and promote it and hopefully show you some ways how you can protect yourself from this avalanche to becoming a problem. But yeah, there will be many merge requests created automatically. So a while ago, I joined a data science project that has been running for 2 years. The developers decided the dependencies they wanted to use, pandas, NumPy, Jupyter, Spacey, whatever else they were using 2 years before. They pinned the versions and they never changed them. So at the moment when I joined the project, this was already becoming an issue. That was definitely an example of technical debt. And it took us collectively a few weeks to sort it out because all the dependencies were outdated, Python version was outdated. However, when there were many interdependencies between all the packages that were used in the project. So yeah, it was a significant effort to sort it out and make sure all the Python packages are updated to their latest versions. And this is where I thought, okay, there must be a better way. We cannot only rely on the development team to be diligent and keep updating the dependencies manually. And this is what this talk will be about. A better way to keep the project dependencies up to date, not necessarily in Python projects. So I will be using Python as an example, but the Renovate bot works with many more package managers and different languages. I am from Roche. Roche is a Swiss pharmaceutical company that was founded more than 100 years ago. So we've been around for a while. We have two main divisions. We have Pharma division that discovers, develops, and produces medical products. And we have DIA division that delivers diagnostic solutions. All this cannot be done without IT solutions. So we have a number of IT hubs. 2 of them are placed in Poland, where I am coming from. And to be precise, I am coming to you from Poznań. So show of hands, please. Who of you uses mostly GitHub for development? Okay. How about GitLab? That's surprising, but very good to hear that this is the talk for all of you, but I think it will be especially useful for GitLab users. Who uses anything else? Okay, it will be interesting to hear what this something else is. We can chat about this later. Thank you. So now I know something about you. Let me Renovate. So Renovate is an open source tool that allows you to get dependency updates automatically. It's available at GitHub. It's coded mostly in TypeScript. It supports a large number of package managers. I will not go through this list, obviously, but you will see some examples in the demo I will do later. So you will see updates for Python, you will see updates for GitLab CI, and you will see updates for Docker images. These are the ones that I remember off the top of my head. But yeah, here's the complete list of supported managers. You can find it in the documentation. And if you are using anything that's not in this list, it is also possible to configure custom update managers. So there are a few options to use Renovate. And the naming convention the vendor uses could be better, because there is Ment Renovate community, and Renovate by Ment.io. And it's super hard to tell just by looking from the name which of this is a commercial version, which is free version, or whatever else. But yeah, that's the naming convention they decided to use. We will be talking about Renovate by Ment.io, which is the offering that you can use for free. And you may be interested in this GitHub bot. So this is a bot that is available in the GitHub Marketplace that you can enable for your open source project and start using. Or you can use this Renovate Docker image. And this will be the topic of the reminder of the presentation, because I will show you how to configure a Renovate bot using this Docker image when you have a self-hosted instance of GitLab. And before I get to the demo, I wanted to include this information because this may be misleading, at least it was misleading for me in the beginning. Renovate has a large number of configuration options, and it's really a lot. You can spend days or weeks tweaking your configuration. However, they are split into two separate pages. So when I will be showing some configuration option and you will want to look it up later, and you will go to this link marked with number 1, which is configuration options for repository, that's one place. But you also have more configuration options for the self-hosted instance. So yeah, this was misleading for me in the beginning. I was looking for some options, not finding them, until I learned there are two separate web pages where you need to look. Okay, demo time. So I will be using, is it big enough or should I zoom in? Perfect, thank you. So I have, this is a Roche instance of GitLab. I have two projects that I will be working with mainly, and some backups in terms things go wrong, but hopefully they won't. So yeah, this is a dummy project, and I named it this way so my colleagues at Roche, when they find this project, don't think bad about me. So this is a dummy project, and the dependencies are outdated here for a reason, and there is not really much useful, there is no useful code here. But let's have a look, yeah. So we have a hello NumPy script that is importing NumPy, and there is a single function that is only here, so I have a reason to have some unit tests. There is a test that is checking this NumPy function, and that's it. Nothing interesting here. I only need any function and any unit test to have a CI/CD pipeline. I also have a test, and this will actually be useful, that checks the Python version that is currently used in the environment. And I defined this test in a way so it fails when we are trying to use the latest version of Python, meaning Python 3.12. Okay, so we have a piece of Python code. We have two unit tests. What else do we have? We have pre-commit checks. So there are pre-commit checks, and if you look here, there are some version numbers here, and these are not most recent versions of these hooks. What else? We have requirements. Again, there are two requirements here, so there is NumPy, there is PyTest. Not super interesting. Both of them are outdated. And we have a GitLab CI pipeline. And actually here we have two jobs. So first we are running the pre-commit checks. And if you are surprised to see pre-commit checks as part of a CI pipeline, I don't trust my colleagues enough, and I don't trust myself enough to believe that everyone will always run the pre-commit checks on their laptops. So just to address this issue, I always include the pre-commit checks in the CI pipeline too. So this is why we have this job here. And if we skip the caching part here that I added to make this demo go more smoothly, there is basically this one line that is executed here. So this job execute pre-commit checks for all files. So that's all that's happening here. So this is job number 1, and it is followed by job number 2. Job number 2 installs the requirements and then executes the unit tests. This is not the best solution because the requirements are installed every time the job runs. But yeah, it gets the job done. And again, I added some caching to make sure it is as fast as possible. In a project that was not a dummy project done for a presentation, there are many ways to implement it better. But yeah, long story short, we have a Python project with some dependencies. They're outdated for a reason, and there is a CI pipeline that executes 2 jobs in sequence. Now let's switch to the other repository, and actually to make things faster. So this other repository is Renovate Runner. So this is how you can configure your own instance of the Renovate bot. And I will run the pipeline. Before I explain what the pipeline does, yeah, because I don't want us spending time looking at this to execute. So this will run or not. Okay, we need one quick check because it seems to me that my colleagues decided to disable the particular runners I wanted to use here. So not only live demo, but also live coding. Worst case scenario, I have the backup, and we will go through the static repositories I prepared beforehand. But it should be better if this works. Okay, so I am committing this change. Hopefully this will unblock the pipeline and we'll be able to study what's here. Is it looking better? Okay, this is looking better. Now, Renovate Runner, what it means to set up a Renovate Runner. So let's start from the top. Again, we have a CI pipeline. I am using the official image from Renovate, one I was showing on the slide with the misleading naming convention. So this is a Docker image from their Docker Hub registry. And what I am doing is simply calling a utility named Renovate. That's it. So CI pipeline is very simple. There's a single stage with a single job, and all I am doing is calling utility or method called Renovate. What else do we have? If you look closely, there is also a config file here mentioned. So indeed, we have config.js, and config.js defines that. Okay, so we are working with GitLab. We are working with GitLab. This is the API endpoint that Renovate should be using to communicate with this instance of GitLab. We want Renovate to create onboarding merge requests to onboard the new projects. I am pointing to the initial onboarding config that I will show in a moment. Then we have a list of repositories that should be scanned by Renovate. And we have a token. So this is a GitLab token that gives Renovate access to all the projects that it is scanning. And when I say all the projects, I mean the projects that are listed in this repositories JSON file, which is only one project right now, but it could be many, many more. So this actually can be a list that contains more than one element. But right now I am scanning only the projects that we were looking before, the dummy Python project with outdated dependencies. And one more thing that we have here is this JSON file. And this is a config file, a Renovate config file that will be used when onboarding new projects. So when you are managing an instance of Renovate, this is where you can decide what will be the initial configuration for your users. So this is how you can help them to have a good configuration. And that means that, for example, I propose that all the merge requests created by Renovate have this label. This is one of the options you can decide to use. Okay, let's see how our pipeline is doing. So the pipeline was actually completed successfully. Let's have a look. Just to make sure it's not showing some error or warning inside. Okay, there is a warning, but this is a warning I will discuss in the last step. Apart from that, it is all looking good. So back to the dummy repository that was just scanned by Renovate. When we go to merge requests, we see a new merge request. So yeah, this is the beginning of the avalanche. The bots are taking over and creating merge requests for us. One for now. So let's check this merge request. So yeah, it was created by Renovate. It says that it detected the following files that are, let's say, in scope, that are of interest for Renovate. These are the files that it can be updating. Then you are getting an explanation of what's happening here. And then the important thing is you are getting this list, what to expect. So if you accept this merge request with the current configuration, these are the merge requests that will be configured for you. Okay, so this is pretty good explanation for the end users, I believe. This is pretty good onboarding experience. There are also some warnings, and I will get to that. I will address those warnings later, but for now, let's merge this, let's accept this. But maybe first check what's actually here. So what's here is this initial onboarding configuration file that we were looking previously in the runner repository. So I, as the administrator of this Renovate instance, decided that, okay, I want to use this initial onboarding configuration, and that's exactly what's here. Now I am putting on my end user hat and I say, okay, I want to change something here. So I will actually, this is a merge request. This is a regular merge request. There is nothing special about it, which means that I am reviewing this merge request and I am entitled to make changes if I want to change something. So I want to add some options here. So basically I want to add an option that says that I will be the assignee of merge requests created by Renovate in this single project. And I also want to enable support for the pre-commit file. So I also want to have this file updated. This is not available out of the box because this is a community-driven feature, but you can decide to enable it. So I am adding these two options. I am also getting some expected comma. Where is it expecting a comma? A sec, sorry about this. So this is fine. This is fine. Well, this was not needed at all. I don't know how it got here. I think now it is fine. Looks reasonable. Let's give it a try. But thank you for the support. And we'll see if it works. Okay, so I made this change. This is the configuration file for this single project. I will merge this. Now we need to wait for the pipeline to complete, or I will merge it immediately, not to wait. So now the dummy project has one extra file. We have the Renovate JSON config, which means next time Renovate will scan this project, and I will trigger this right away. Next time Renovate will scan this project, it will have a configuration file that tells it what to do and how to treat this project. Okay, so again, I switched to the runner project, and I am running the pipeline. Yeah, important thing to say here. in most cases, you will not be running Renovate manually. Of course you can, but it's usually easier to configure a GitLab schedule and automate those executions and run the pipeline every hour, every 2 hours, whatever you decide works for you. And I also want to give you a piece of practical advice. Why I always convince everyone using Renovate to make sure to set the assignee or either assignees or reviewers options. Because by default, Renovate is creating merge requests and not assigning them to anybody. And that means that nobody feels responsible for dealing with them, because either nobody feels responsible or people are forgetting about them. People are not getting notifications about new merge requests. And if this is a project that, let's say, is in maintenance mode, that is not actively developed, then those merge requests can go unnoticed for weeks. And then why use Renovate if you are not doing anything about the proposed updates? So this is why I believe the assignees, setting the assignees option to a name or a few names is a good thing. How is this doing? Not bad. Okay, completed. Back to the dummy project. What happened this time? Okay, so it detected that there are 2 dependencies that are outdated. So let's see what this is showing us. So yeah, we have information that this is a minor update from version 1.25 to 1.26.4. We have some warnings. I will explain in a while what they are about. And we also have some information what you can do about this. So Renovate in every merge request is trying to explain to the end user how to work with the tool. And as an administrator of the tool, you can change this message. You can put something specific to your workflow here. Let's have a look at the change. So a change was made to the requirements file, and basically is a version number that was bumped. So yeah, exactly as Yishai was explaining, the change is super small, and it's only about changing the version number. Let's check the pipeline. The pipeline is green, so the pre-commit is successful and the unit tests are successful. Obviously, this pipeline will be more complex in a real project. In this dummy one, I think that's enough to explain what I am trying to convey. I will merge this. And the other merge request I will leave for now. And we'll have a look, because there is actually one more thing that was created. So if you go to issues, there's a new issue. And this new issue is named Dependency Dashboard. And the Dependency Dashboard is showing you some information about this project. So for example, here we are getting the warnings that some things are not configured. We also have information that the updates are rate limited. By default, I think Renovate creates 2 update merge requests at a time. You need to merge them or merge at least one of them, and then you will get a new one. I want to change this. So in this project, I want to allow more merge requests. This is why I will go to Renovate JSON again. I will edit this file, and I will add one more option here. So I want to change the PR hourly limit. It uses the GitHub naming conventions. This is why it says PR, not MR, but that's the same for us. I will change it to 10. Okay, and there was one more warning message. And the warning message that I want to address here is the fact that there is no GitHub token configured, therefore the release notes are not retrieved. And seeing the release notes inside this merge request is very useful. So I want to address this as well. And to do that, I need to go to the runner project, let's say to the server side of things, and I need to set a variable. So to make sure that Renovate can pull release nodes from GitHub, you need a personal token for GitHub to fetch the changelogs, and the proper variable is named GitHub.com token. So I have the token already here. I will only rename it to have a proper name. Okay, was it safe? It was saved. So I will run the pipeline again. Okay, I am anticipating a question. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe you wouldn't be asked. Oh, there are some questions already. But I will look at them later. But I am anticipating a question that, okay, so now I will be getting 10 or 15 merge requests every day or even more often. How do I deal with that? And could they be merged automatically? Very much to what Ishai was suggesting for such trivial merge requests. And the answer is yes, they can be merged automatically. If you trust your CI pipeline, if you trust that your CI pipeline will catch any issues, that could be caused by some dependency changes, you can have those merge requests merged automatically. Actually, I will show you the actual Roche instance of Renovate. So this is the Renovate runner that we actually use at Roche. It is also updating itself. So it is scanning the same project, finding updates, and then it is merging them automatically. So there is an auto merge option, and you can decide if you want to do this for patch releases or minor releases, or if you are really brave and you want to do that for major releases. I think that you could also add major here. This is why when you look here, and yeah, Renovate is releasing very often. So if you have a look here, so this was 6 days ago, this was 1 week ago, 1 week ago, 1 week ago, and these are mostly updates to, okay, there are also some other packages updated, but mostly these are updates to Renovate, and they are all merged automatically. As soon as the pipeline is green, the merge request will be merged, and I don't even have to look at that. But back to our project. Is the pipeline complete? Yes. So what do we have now? Now we have many more merge requests, and we need to, we should obviously wait to see if they are breaking the pipeline or not. But yeah, I tested it a few times, so I know which one of them will fail. I know which one, so I will merge the remaining ones in the meantime. But because I configured the GitHub token, there is one important thing. Now we have the release nodes inside the merge request. And from my perspective, this is a super useful feature because, yeah, that's my usual morning. I usually start the day by scanning the merge requests that were created. And depending on how important the dependency is, I spend more or less time going through the release notes, understanding if any of the changes is affecting the application, and based on this, deciding whether I can simply merge this, or I should spend some more time testing the application with the updated dependency. These two are very minor. I fully trust them, so I will merge this. Now we are getting to more interesting stuff. So it proposed an update, and this time it is updating this GitLab CI file. It bumped Python from version 3.11 to version 3.12. And the pipeline is red as a result. I can see why. Okay, What's wrong? You probably remember there was this unit test that was explicitly forbidding this version of Python, and this is why we have this message here. Now, you can do one of two things. You can either adjust your application to become compatible with updated dependency or updated Python version, or you can close such a merge request. So I will add a comment and close this. And here I have an information that for Renovate, that means I want to ignore this version update, and I won't be reminded about Python 3.12.3 again. It will not recreate this merge request in the next run. However, it will create a new merge request when version 3.12.4 is released. But it will not be bugging me about this particular version of Python because I decided to close this merge request. And then we have PyTest, and here we have something interesting because we have two separate merge requests for the same package. So we have a proposal for the patch update, and this is a change to requirements txt. And we have a proposal for a major update. This is a change to exactly the same file, but this time to version 0. So when you have a major release and patch release, for example, you are getting separate merge requests. And of course, there are configuration options to tweak this behavior. I will go with the major update. I will merge this. And I will keep the other one because I want to show you what happens now. So I am rerunning the pipeline. So yeah, it's 2 hours later. The schedule kicks in again. I did some work in my project. I closed a single merge request. I closed a single merge request. I think I merged 3 other merge requests. I left one open. And let's see what happens now. Where's the pipeline? OK, it is running. This will take a moment to run. So I can use this time to advertise the Renovate community. It's a really good open source community. When I post, and I post quite a lot of questions to their discussions board, I always get an answer. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it requires some further clarification on my side. But it's a very lively community. So I can recommend it highly. Very often, these are the maintainers who are engaging in these conversations. So that's super useful. And I can also highly recommend the setup of the repository, because I once implemented a change. I once submitted a pull request to Renovate because I needed a new feature that was not implemented. This thing is coded in TypeScript. I know nothing about TypeScript, absolutely nothing, or JavaScript. So I was expecting to spend the first few days setting up all the tools necessary to do TypeScript development. And yet, it wasn't that way. This is how I learned about dev containers. So basically, they have a dev container here defined. As soon as I cloned the repository and opened it in VS Code, it automatically downloaded all the required dependencies and in 10 minutes, I was able to start coding my pull request. So yeah, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend this tool and this community also if you would like to become a committer. They are super friendly. OK, what happened here? Because the Renovate run is done. OK, no open merge request. As you remember, I left one open. But it has been closed because Renovate detected, OK, you decided to use PyTest version 8. So this proposal no longer makes sense. So Renovate also takes care of cleaning after itself. And if we have a look at the merge request I closed manually, where is it? It was the Python thing. If we have a look here, here we have a comment, which is we don't have a comment. OK, sorry. I need to enable comments from bots. Okay, now we have a comment that reminds me that because I ignored this merge request, I will be not bugged about this particular update anymore, but I will be reminded about the next one. Okay, one last tweak to the configuration file, because the time is running short. But we still have the information that it failed to look up this particular dependency. And this is a dependency from an internal registry. This is a dependency from the CodeRoche.com GitLab instance. And one more change I can make on the server side, and that's important you do it as Renovate administrator to make life easier for your users, is to configure access to different external registries and repositories. In this case, it's an internal Docker registry. So I am adding this snippet here. Okay, again, I have a problem with the bracket. That's looking good. So basically, I am adding a host rule, and this is a host rule that uses some GitLab CI variables, not to reveal any details. But this is basically a host rule that says that when you are updating Docker, and the images are coming from a particular registry, and this is exactly this registry that we have here, use these credentials. So I will commit this. So this is a configuration change, right? You may have a long list of host rules here configuring credentials for Docker Hub, for GitHub, for some internal registries that you may have in your company. I will run the pipeline. And because the time is running short, I will go back to the slides. Oh, it is running automatically because I updated the file. So I will go back to the slides, and then we'll come back and see if this change worked or not. Anyway, that was a lot of information, I know. So, important takeaways from the presentation. Just to summarize and just to let you know what I would like you to remember leaving this room. So first of all, Renovate bot gives you automated dependency updates for different package managers and different coding languages. Self-hosted Renovate instance, if you want to run your own instance, maybe simply a GitLab project. You don't need a dedicated server, you don't need a dedicated infrastructure. If you have self-hosted GitLab, you can use it to run Renovate. Git will store your configuration files. GitLab CI you will use to define and schedule the Renovate pipelines, and GitLab runners will run the scans. That's it. That's what you need in terms of infrastructure. And also, Renovate fits right into your existing development process. So it creates merge requests. You need to review those merge requests, or you may decide to merge them automatically. But it fits into the process you have. It fits with the CI/CD pipelines that you use. Running Renovate Roche. So this is the graph for the Renovate bot users that we have. It was a perfect streak, as you can see. I don't know what happened in October. We must have some GitLab downtime, and it was turned off for the entire day, because in general this bot is making hundreds of contributions every day. We are scanning more than 1,000 projects right now. The pipelines are scheduled to run every 2 hours, and they run automatically. Nobody needs to run them manually like I was doing. And to scan this number of projects and to fit in under 2 hours, we are running 12 jobs in parallel. So this is how it looks at our scale of this Renovate instance. And yeah, what I learned while maintaining Renovate Roche. So first of all, you need to invest into simple onboarding process to convince your users to start using the tool. So they cannot be forced to go through pages of documentation to be able to add Renovate to their project. You need to promote the tool constantly and educate your users and remind them that they should enable it, because it's not so obvious as it turns out. You probably see that I love Renovate very much, but not everyone is as enthusiastic about this as I am. Yeah, you should be helping your users to customize your project, because sometimes the user will tell, okay, I'm getting too many merge requests, I am getting them too often, and they disable Renovate completely. While these are all simple configuration changes, yeah, I need to check the Renovate logs every few days and scan them for new warnings and new errors, because yeah, the users are very creative in terms of what they add to their projects, and different new issues pop up. So you need to be on the lookout for them. Renovate will not fly in projects that don't already have DevOps practices implemented. So for example, a CI pipeline running unit tests is a must to detect updates that could be breaking for the projects. When you have a lot of repositories to scan, you can parallelize them using the parallel job option, and you can run the scans, many scans at the same time. And yeah, you should also invest some time, and this goes back to point number 4, to configure access to different internal and external registries, repositories, package indexes, so that Renovate can fetch them all. And yeah, this is something I discovered very recently. When you have onboarding or update merge requests that were left unattended for months, this slows down the scans significantly, because Renovate updates those merge requests, and it is taking more and more time to fetch them through the GitLab API. So you should be also looking out for this, not to have too many very old merge requests. One last look at the demo. Okay, this is green. The warning is back. The warning is gone, and that means that there should be, yeah, this is one merge request. This time, after adding this host rule, Renovate was able to propose update for this Docker image that is stored not in Docker Hub, but it is coming from an internal Roche registry. So yeah, one more merge request to be merged. And that's all I wanted to share. If you're interested, all the code I used, all the materials, and the slides are available at this link.
Thank you. Yeah, but still we have like a minute or two, so let's go through the most rated questions from Slido. Automating dependency updates by creating merge request is convenient. What is your opinion about going one step further and auto-merge non-breaking changes?
Absolutely, I do that. If you trust your CI pipeline, if you believe that your CI pipeline is robust enough to catch all the problems that may arise from some non-compatible dependency update, go for auto-merging. And I do that in different projects, it works.
Maybe the last one question or two, what is also top rated, like free, so I will catch you a minute or two, so I hope you can stay here. Can it fetch release notes from the... Okay.
Yes, there is an option to configure packages that should be updated together. And you can, there are many ways to do that. You can list these packages explicitly, or you can create a regular expression, and then you will be getting, for example, updates from LangChain and different LangChain related projects as a single merge request. There is an option to do that. Should I take one more?
If you can shortly answer, so yes, please do.
How often? Okay. So how often does the tool create new pull request after the previous one was rejected? So it creates a new pull request when a new version is released. So if you reject 3.1, you will not get a merge request until 3.2.
Okay, thank you. Actually, yeah, please share your warm applause to the Marek, yeah, for his presentation. And thank you, actually, audience, for your active contribution with the questions. Here, a small present from organization.
Thank you.
Okay.